gunshots fired near the White House, and reporters there are currently on lockdown. One correspondent says they heard multiple shots and Secret Service telling them to get down. ABC is reporting that the White House.
Now America has turned into a third world country with things like this happening in not only in South America, Africa, and places like that. Let's begin. Now, the technology they have drew us from this point.
Phone is Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram. He had been following this breaking news story and has all the details on what happened. We're so grateful, Chad, we have you by phone. Can you break this down for us?
Well, Tommy, this is what always happens when we have something like this. I always start to check in on the security situation at the White House, but this is what happened around 6 o'clock this evening. I'm told that a gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House, and came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off. And they apparently took the gunman down. Now, sometime in this gunfire exchange, a civilian on the street was struck by this gunfire, and we do not know the condition of that person right now. But the important thing to know is that the gunman who came up with the pistol and was taken down by the Secret Service, and we don't know his condition right now, but he never got inside the perimeter of the White House. And this is according to a senior administration official with direct knowledge of what went down at the White House this afternoon. This was right around 6 o'clock Eastern time.
So, Chad, so if I'm hearing what you said correctly, this was somebody who was just firing in the direction of the White House?
It was something that the Secret Service obviously perceived as a threat. Obviously, we're told that gunfire apparently was directed toward the White House. If you get toward the west side of the White House, and we're trying to figure out precisely where this was, you have the old executive office building now called the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, which is kind of a big complex if you're working from west to east toward the White House. So we know that he was firing in the direction of the White House, and this is the preliminary report from someone who's very senior and would have direct knowledge of this information. Again, a lot of people in town. There was one source that had, questioned me earlier, even before we had this information. There's a lot of motorcyclists in town for the Memorial Day events. They always come for this time, and people thought it might have been, motorcycles backfiring or something like that. There's quite a cacophony of that. But this is clearly someone who came up and was firing at the direction of the White House. And the president, of course, is at the White House today.
Hey, Chad, Kevin here. If I could just get you to break down again, based on what you've heard, this person was taken down. Does that mean they have been neutralized, or do you think they sort of made physical contact with this person? I'm just trying to get some clarity there.
I was told that they were shot because the Secret Service returned fire against this individual.
Gotcha. And have you heard from any cabinet secretaries or any other high-level officials about what's happening?
Yeah. This is all we've gotten right now. It's Memorial Day weekend. People are spread to the 4 winds, and the reason I, always jump in on this is that, I used to cover local government, and the best stories about the county sheriff's department would come out through the county commissioners and vice versa.
Now, that was Fox News. And to think about this, Fox News had relatively no information within hours. Look at the information that was gathered. Don't tell me the technology they don't have. Just listen.
And we just, from 2 sources briefed on the incident, as well as an internal law enforcement document, we know now that the suspect is Nasir Best, who was transported to George Washington Hospital. As the Secret Service said, he has passed away. The suspect previously approached the White House. There was interaction in the past between the suspect and law enforcement in June of 2025. There was an order for him to stay away from the White House. That incident in June of 2025, from an internal law enforcement document, according to sources, it happened on the last summer near the White House. An officer in police uniform, full police uniform, was working at a pedestrian access control post at the White House when he observed Best, the suspect, walk into a restricted area by using the exit turnstile lane that was located at the post. And apparently that restricted area had multiple signs there, Eamon, stating, "Do not enter, exit only, police line, do not cross, pass holders and appointments only." Again, this was near.
With a bunch of racists in power and the war going on, the political climate is where it is. Be safe out there. This world is changing fast. That's Projects T, and we out. By the way, why y'all haven't liked, subscribe? Get on your job.